The president of the transition head of state, Captain Ibrahim TRAORE, gave a televised interview to RTB, Sidwaya, and the private television station, Burkina Info, on the occasion of the first anniversary of the settlement of the transition. This moment of accountability with the press was an opportunity for the head of state to address all areas of the life of the nation and to reaffirm his commitment and determination to defeat the terrorist Hydra with the support of the people. News. The attempts to destabilize the institutions of the Republic with the attempted coup d'etat on the night of September the 26th and 27th served as the starting point for the more than 1 hour interview with the head of state. Captain Ibrahim TRAORE, who confirmed this information, maintained that the route taken in the fight against imperialism is difficult, due above all to the manipulative actions of local henchmen. On this issue, the head of state was very clear. It's over. We've raised enough awareness. We've talked enough to the people. Security and defense. On the issue of security and defense, the head of state began by rest assuring the people of Burkina on the cohesion between the various fighting units in the fight against terrorism. He spoke of the efforts made to acquire weapons, air vehicles, and rolling stock. An effort has also been made to support the commitment of volunteers for the defense of the homeland, whose monthly allowance has been increased from 20,000 CFA francs to 60,000 CFA francs. To enhance the effectiveness of the fighting forces and improve territorial coverage, the head of state indicated that the country had been reorganized into 6 groupings, followed by a reinforcement of human resources in the various defense and security forces. On the gendarmerie side, we decided to recruit auxiliary constables. The first wave of 1,400 has completed its training. Around 1,500 are still in training, for a total of almost 3,000. As far as water and forestry offices are concerned, we have launched a special recruitment drive for 4,000 elements. As for the police, we have trained the Groupement des Unités Mobiles d'Intervention, GUMI, and for the army, we have recruited 11,000 soldiers. All these efforts, backed by the commitment of our citizens through the Patriotic Support Fund and the payment of various taxes, have enabled us to liberate certain localities. And today, no group comes to the capital to look for these means. They have all the means. They do their operations. And that's in just 1 year, asserts Captain Ibrahim TRAORE. The decision to send a Burkinabe contingent to Niger stems from the desire to fight terrorism outside our territories and to support the people of Niger in their quest for sovereignty. Youth and employment. According to the president of the transition, young people who want to set up small businesses are often confronted with many different kinds of taxes. This is why we have facilitated a lot of things at present, and we will continue to do so, stressed Captain Ibrahim TRAORE. The aim is to encourage young people to become entrepreneurs. To this end, the head of state indicated that the ministry in charge of youth is in the process of setting up a number of agencies to support those who come up with projects. To fund young people's projects, Captain Ibrahim TRAORE asked banks and financial institutions to make proposals, even if the state needs to find guarantees, so that young people can get loans at truly acceptable rates to get started. economy and development. In the field of economy and development, the head of state maintained that efforts were being made to pay off domestic debts with a view to relieving the burden on businesses and boosting development. Convinced that development will not come from elsewhere, the head of state launched community entrepreneurship, and we thank God that people have understood the spirit behind this ideology. And that's what enabled us to lay the foundation stone for the tomato processing plant in Bobo-Dioulasso, asserted Captain Ibrahim TRAORE, who says he is closely monitoring the implementation of community entrepreneurship. During the interview, the head of state also stressed that the presidential initiative for agricultural production 2023-2024, which mobilizes 3,000 military personnel and 4,000 IDPs, has food self-sufficiency in its sights. Politics and civil liberties. It is not of its own free will that the transition has suspended the activities of the political parties and civil society organizations, declared the head of state, who maintained that it is first and foremost a matter of security. As for the movement in support of the transition organized here and there, it's a spontaneous phenomenon. It's not necessarily a CSO that has risen to organize an event, remarked the head of state. Speaking to journalists, Captain Ibrahim TRAORE explained his vision of cleaning up political life through reforms. Multipartism will exist. There will be conditions to exercise it. Those who made the condition will run for office, said the president of the transition. For Captain Ibrahim TRAORE, the organization of elections is not a priority at this stage of the transition. It's security that is the priority, he said. There will be no election concentrated solely in Ouaga, Bobo, and a few towns around. All Burkinabé must choose their president. Those who are going to run for office must be able to go anywhere in Burkina to campaign, said the head of state. The president of the transition also announced reforms to the constitution and the justice system, the prison system in particular. For example, we want to make overtures and take these customary and religious leaders into account in the new constitution. Also, justice must be for everyone, asserted the head of state, who also intends to reform the prison system to bring it into line with our cultures. Responding to the suspension of certain media, the head of state indicated that individual freedoms must not take precedence over collective freedoms. And in times of war, either you are with the fatherland or you are against it, said the president of the transition. Reacting to the various requisitions, some of which are making the headlines, the head of state maintained that, in any case, it's the law. General mobilization and warnings are in order. When you are at war, you can make certain arrangements. You can requisition everyone. Diplomacy. On the diplomatic front, the head of state welcomed the birth of the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, a symbol of the excellent relations between Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Today, whatever the situation in Niger, Burkina or Mali, we can all benefit from each other's support from this partnership, said the president of the transition. Regarding relations with Côte d'Ivoire, the head of state maintained that there was no particular problem. I think that even tomorrow, the people of Burkina Faso and Côte d'Ivoire will be together, he said. As for tightening up cooperation with Russia, it's because they are also anti-imperialists, and our ideas converge. When you look at our equipment, most of it is Russian. They agreed to sell us everything. Meanwhile, many imperialist states refuse to sell us anything lethal, such as guns that can be mounted on aircraft. At the end of the meeting, the president of the transition and head of state, Captain Ibrahim TRAORE, thanks the people of Burkina Faso for the trust placed in the transition. As he rest assured them of his commitment, he invited the people of Burkina to go to the right information to better support him in building our homeland.